Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I am very excited to share with you a new video. Today I wanted to talk about 3 of my favorite summer crafts. Each of these have both magical and medicinal uses, so there's a lot of marrying of my kind of projects in this, and each one has a lot of variation and interpretation in it. Summer is this big time for preparation and creating. There are tons and tons of plants out and about. It is the peak season for just nature in general. So the workings are truly endless. In this video, I really want to focus on one of the things that is my absolute favorite thing to do in the world, and a couple of things that will help you to work throughout the year. So, very excited to dive in. But before we do, this video is sponsored, so let's hear a little bit more about that first. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is a website building and hosting company, and as I'm currently working on putting up a website, it is very exciting to get to partner with them. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock creative design. You get to start with a best-in-class website template and customize every detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. You can stretch your imagination when it comes to online design with Fluid Engine, built in and ready to go on any new Squarespace site. One thing I really love about Squarespace is their flexible website template. You get to get started with one of their professional website templates with designs for every category and use case. Then customize your look, update the content, and add features to fit your unique needs. You can make any Squarespace template do what you want, so your idea, brand, or business stands out online on every device and can be as unique to you as you dream. Another thing that I really love about Squarespace is the ease of working an online store. Whether you sell physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to squarespace.com/thegreenwitch to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's dive into 3 summer practices. Like I said, these practices have kind of a range. They're both medicinal and magical, and some of them are kind of meant for preparing for the rest of the year. And arguably the first one that is the practice that I enjoy most even is preparing as well. So while this is not an exhaustive list, these are very beneficial practices and my favorites for summer. So with that, let's dive in. So the first practice I want to talk about should be no surprise to anyone, and that is salve making. If you've been here for however long, you probably have noticed that this is something I deeply enjoy. I tend to make quite a few salves throughout the year, but I especially adore making medicinal salves in the summertime. There are so many herbs that are wildly abundant, and I usually make one for kitchen burns to last me throughout the year. This is also a fantastic time of year to make salves for sunburns or insect bites or really anything. They're also a wonderful aid to magic. They're a great way to wear magic on the person. So you can make a salve for protection, to draw love or prosperity. I have one that I really enjoy for calm as well. There truly are endless possibilities when it comes to making salves, and I find the practice of making them to be very meditative and wonderful. The practice I usually employ takes one day of preparation, about 4 to 6 weeks of waiting and watching, taking care to shake the jar back and forth and move about the oil to make sure it's infusing wonderfully. And then at the end of this time, doing a day-long working of a hot infusion and then making the salve with that infused oil, some beeswax, and any other ingredient that I feel is desirable. Often I have added coconut oil, or I have worked with shea butter as well. I do have an entire video on my channel on salve making in the base medicinal preparations playlist if you are interested in making your own, but they are such a beautiful way of working with the nature and creating something useful. You can make them in any amount. I like to have them to carry with me in a bag. I've made lip balms before, and they also are a really fun giftable item to people in your life. Everybody likes little body care things, and this is a really beautiful thing that you can make for someone specific. This year I very much plan on making my typical salve for burns and just skin in general with calendula and rose. I am also going to add in another flower probably. I want to try working with elderflower this time, I think, but I'm not fully set on that. I also want to make another salve this year just for general day-to-day body, so I am certain that I will include calendula in that, but I haven't decided on everything else. And honestly, it may be the same as this recipe that I have already, but maybe using some different ingredients beyond the oil, like how I've worked with shea butter and olive oil in the past. I want to do some more experimentation with those oils or butters and maybe some more things like that. You'll be able to see all of this experimentation on my other channel. Now, the next project that I want to share with you is foraged baked goods. This is something that you can do all year round, but I find that the summertime offers the most opportunities for it. I personally love to cook, I love to bake, and I very much enjoy experimenting with the nature to make baked goods. There are many different ways that you can go about this. You can make infusions in milk to add to cakes or anything that has milk in it. I have many recipes involving infused milks, so something like my chamomile sweet rolls. They are flavored with chamomile by making an infusion, a tea essentially, of the milk and chamomile. You can also make infused honeys for a similar thing, either adding the honey directly in or on top. I love making lavender breads, or really anything with foraged plants. I am particularly fond of foraged flowers. I want to do a lot of work with rose going forward, but it is not limited only to flowers, and it is soon going to be peak berry season for blackberries and huckleberries. I am so excited to get to work with them. I recently just got to make a blueberry jam, and that was not so foraged, but it was picked fresh from a farm. And I will be adding that into maybe either lemon bars on top of lemon bars, or into another lemony dish of some sort. But working with the nature that is growing abundantly around you is something that I always talk about. It is such a wonderful way to really connect and engage with the natural energies that are around you. They are what are most potent in the moment. And so picking flowers and berries and leaves of edible plants that are currently in abundance is just a fantastic way to connect to that energy. And to ingest it, bring it inside of yourself, also furthers that connection. Besides, it's also another wonderful thing to share with loved ones or just people you care about. So all around, a great way to work with the season, and something I would greatly recommend. And almost forgot this one, something like a jam or any sort of preserve is a great way to bring these ingredients in their full potency throughout the year with you. So my favorite go-to tends to be jams, but you could also make vinegars or other sorts of preserves. Now, the final practice that I want to share with you is kind of less of a practice and more of a task, but it can be made into a practice if you do it with intent, and that is preserving ingredients for the winter months. This kind of ties into the idea of jam making, but in this sense I mean more gathering herbs, drying them, and putting them in containers to keep. Like I've said a million times, the summer is when our world is blooming fully. There are so many valuable plants and just wonderful magical and medicinal ingredients abounding everywhere. And a great way to work with them throughout the year is to dry them and store them properly. I do have a video on drying and storing herbs if you're interested in that as well. But the practice of this is a great way to prepare for the winter months and to connect again to the nature. Getting to walk slow through the woods or fields, wherever you're harvesting, taking the time to gather the material of the plants that you wish to be using, setting it to dry, checking in on it, and finally putting it away is a great way to connect again to the nature and to your workings. I love having that personal connection to the ingredients that I am working with in my magic or in my medicinal practices. And taking the time now to prepare for winter is something that makes getting through those long, dark days far easier. And with that, those are my 3 favorite summer practices. I hope you've enjoyed and I hope you've got some ideas out of this. And I really am curious to hear from you about some of your favorite summer practices. I know a lot of these were not as typical as my regular practices that I like to share, but they work for me and make me very excited for the season that we're in. Like I said before, I will be sharing a lot of this on my other channel. If you're interested in seeing more of this, that's linked down below. And if you want to help support this channel, you can check out my Patreon. There I share our herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. It's really what keeps things running over here, and I couldn't do it without all of you there. I also have a book that I wrote. It is all about herbal magic and spellcraft, and it takes the beginner to the intermediate, if not even a bit further. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I can't wait to see you again soon.